Hi everyone. Today's topic is animal nutrition. In animal nutrition, we are going to see about few definitions of food, diet, nutrition, diet, balanced diet, and malnutrition. Then we are going to discuss about different types of foods and their importance to our body, and then we'll see what these foods are going to give us, and if we don't eat these foods, what happens to our body. Then food tests, how these foods are tested in the lab. So when you come to the animal nutrition, as we already discussed in the previous topics, that nutrition in animals is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. So in this topic, we are mainly concentrating on few definitions, then importance of food to our body, different classes of food, and food tests. The simple definition of food is anything and everything which is edible. If any human or animal able to eat any food, that is called as in simple terms is food. Then diet is a little polished term of food, like the food which contains all the essential nutrients. All the essential nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and all these things, if they contain, that is called as diet. Then balanced diet, another term where it is much more polished, and the definition is the food which contains all the essential nutrients in their optimum quantities. Optimum quantities, the body requires optimum quantities, not less, not more, not excess. So when we take optimum quantity of all these different types of foods, we call that as balanced diet. Then comes the malnutrition. Malnutrition is the food with either excess or very less amount of essential nutrients. If you take few foods excess, and other foods we don't take at all, we take no nutrients at all, that is called as malnutrition. Unfortunately, malnutrition will lead to deficiency diseases. There are so many deficiency diseases due to not intake of optimum quantity of these nutrients. These deficiency diseases are so many, starting from anemia to kwashiorkor, marasmus, and like these diseases, which is scurvy, to teeth, and rickets in bones and all. These are all due to. Then comes the different classes of foods. Whatever food we eat, different people eat different foods, and all these foods are classified as different groups. And first one is the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are also called as energy foods. These foods examples are like where we exactly get these carbohydrates is cereals like rice, wheat, barley, etc., and potato and other tuberous for what will crops contain carbohydrates. Then proteins. Proteins are also called as bodybuilding foods, which mainly forms our muscles, muscular structure, and proteins are present in meat, chicken, beef, fish, eggs, milk, and pulses. In the same way, in vegetable grains like red, green, black grams, and soya, all these contains high amount of proteins. Then comes fats, also called as lipids. These are called as insulating foods or warmth giving foods. So fats also present in oils, nuts, cream, etc. Then comes vitamins. Vitamins are also called as protective foods. In our syllabus we study vitamin C and D only. So this vitamin C and D you get very high in green vegetables, fruits and green leaves. Then minerals, also called as essential foods. These minerals are required in very minute amounts. In the same way, vitamins also we require in very minute amounts. And mainly we discuss about iron and calcium according to our syllabus. This iron and calcium you get them in green leaves, vegetables, fruits, etc. Then comes fiber, also called as dietary fiber or roughage. This is also called as bulk food. This fiber or dietary fiber roughage contains in green leaves more, and vegetables and fruits also, and oats, like things we can find them. Then water, the most essential part of our classes of food is the water, also called as life fluid, because it contains in all the foods, and more than any what will content in the body, water is the our body. Then comes the food functions and deficiency diseases, means how the six classified foods the useful to us, what they are exactly doing in our body, and if you don't take that food, what happens to our body also. So I classified, I literally made a tabulated form so that it is very easy for you to follow, understand and remember. For example, you take the first class of food is carbohydrates. These carbohydrates function is to provide us energy, but unfortunately if we don't take enough carbohydrates, the deficiency problem is loss of energy and tiredness and weakness in the body. Then the second class of foods, proteins, their function is to build muscles, enzymes, tissues, blood, etc. And the deficiency of proteins is kwashiorkor, and another disease is marasmus. This kwashiorkor, marasmus, where we see in kids and elders the protruding body and bones are clearly visible, and the face is fluffy like. These appearances, these are the symptoms of kwashiorkor and marasmus. Then the third class of food is the fats, the lipids. They provide us insulation to the body, and it also provides warmth. These fats deficiency is lack of insulation to cold weather. In cold weather regions, these people who don't eat enough fat or lipids, they literally get shivering and unable to tolerate the low temperatures. Then comes the fourth class of food is the vitamins. These vitamins function is they provide us healthy gums, vitamin C, and for bones is vitamin D. So stronger gums and healthy gums are due to vitamin C, and vitamin D provides stronger bones. And if you don't take enough, no vitamin C or D, if you don't take enough vitamin C, scurvy disease, deficiency disease, which is bleeding gums. So gums simply bleed if you press them also. That is due to lack of enough vitamin C. Then vitamin D deficiency is rickets, also soft bones. The rickets where the clear visible feature is the bow type of leg bones mainly. So because the bones are soft, they can easily bend. Then the fifth food group of food is minerals. Here we have calcium. Calcium is also for teeth and bones, and iron is for hemoglobin. To make hemoglobin we need iron, and for stronger teeth and bones we need calcium. So if you don't take enough calcium, teeth and bones become weaker and brittle, and they can easily break. Whereas iron deficiency leads to anemia, that is low hemoglobin. Anemic people are very weak They don't have enough energy because hemoglobin carries oxygen in our body, in our blood. Then comes fiber, also called as roughage, also called as dietary fiber. It provides bulk to the food, improve peristalsis. So when there is enough fiber in our food, the food can pass very easily in our system, digestive system, in the intestines, and this literally improves peristalsis, because when fiber moves along with the food, it also cleans the walls of the food and make peristalsis more efficient. And the deficiency disease of fiber roughage is constipation. It means going for stools is very difficult, and bowel syndrome. Bowel syndrome is a deficiency disease where people feel like going to the toilet but they don't get toilet. That is, defecation is difficult. That is called as constipation and bowel syndrome. Then comes water. Water is very essential in our body for dissolving food, to activate enzymes, and cytoplasm contains a high amount of water, and for many more functions in our body we need water. And if you don't take enough water, the deficiency problems are dehydration, kidney problems also we see, because lack of water makes high concentrated urine, which contains also uric acid. Sometimes the uric acid crystalline and blocks these kidney tubules and kidneys also. So here what we see is different foods, their functions, and deficiency diseases like carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamin, mineral problems or diseases. Then comes the food tests. Food tests is a topic which is very important for all the three papers in GCE, IGCSE. You face questions on food tests in multiple choice, in theory paper, and an alternative to practical paper also. So it is very easy to remember in this way. So I made a tabulated a table where you can easily understand and remember. For example, you see starch food test. The reagent required to test starch is iodine, which is brown, yellow brown in color. Then in the procedure, if you mix this starch with iodine solution, and you see the positive result is blue black color. So when you see blue black color, that food component contains starch. Then the second food is glucose, is also called as reducing sugar. uh, Glucose reagent is Benedict's reagent, which is light blue in color. You add this Benedict's reagent to glucose in the test tube and boil this test tube in water bath, hot water bath. This hot water bath is to see the color changes clearly. Means when there is reaction going on between glucose and Benedict's reagent, there are different colors seen in the test tube. To see those colors clearly, we need to keep the test tube in hot water bath. Then the positive colors are starting from green, yellow, orange, brick red precipitate. So there are different colors at different stages of this food test glucose. So what exactly these colors tell us, that is green, yellow, orange, and brick red, is green tells least amount of glucose, and brick red shows highest amount of glucose. Means these colors tells us the amount of glucose present in the given food, or the concentration of glucose present in the given food. Then the third food is protein, also called as Biuret test. This protein reagent is Biuret reagent. You add Biuret reagent to the protein and mix the solution, and what we see is the positive color is purple color. So the purple color shows presence of protein in the food. Then fat test, also called as ethanol emulsion test. Fat you add reagent ethanol, and after that you add water. So first you have to add ethanol, then you have to add water. It should not be first you add water and you add ethanol. You cannot get a good result of the food fat test. Also, there are few questions came up in alternate to practical regarding fat food test, that is why we should not use a test tube with little amount of water present in it, because if you add the water first to fat, definitely you don't see the accurate result, positive result of the food test. That's why first you have to add ethanol, then add water, then mix this particular solution lightly. Then what we see is there is a white cloudy emulsion forming, means water goes down and the fat emulsion floats on the water. That is white cloudy emulsion. That is the positive test for fat. So in this food test, what we are seeing is starch, glucose, also called as reducing sugar, protein test, also called as biuret test, fat test is also called as ethanol emulsion test. So 4 food tests we are seeing, the reagents and the